This simple n8n workflow recovers the abandoned carts based on the customer state. So we access that particular customer's lifetime value to determine the appropriate level of the personalized outreach. For a customer with a high lifetime value, we will send a premium email and we send an SMS and we also allot an internal salesperson dedicatedly for that particular high lifetime value client. Because losing that particular high lifetime value client is a huge loss for any e-commerce company out there, right? And all the other standard users will be notified by automated emails and SMSs. So this is how the whole system was actually, in terms of theory. So let me just show you the demo first, and after that I will explain you how the data will flow from node to node from the beginning to the ending. So yeah, let us test the system live. So here we are using Supabase as our sole source of truth for all the Shopify abandoned carts and saving the customers' details out here, so that we don't hit the Shopify API hard limit when there is a lot of volume for all those things. So apart from that, whenever a new abandoned cart was actually added from Shopify to this particular Supabase, the Supabase will be automatically fires back a post webhook request to this particular, webhook URL. And no worries, there is already implemented, header authentication for this webhook, so no unauthenticated request will be encouraged out there. Okay. So for the demo purposes, I am simply, inserting a sample abandoned cart out there. So let's see how this thing will go. And let us see in the execution tab. Yeah, this is the new execution. So if everything goes well, we will be receiving a email and we will be receiving an SMS, and the sales team will also be notified by, I mean, about this particular thing, right? So let us just simply check the email. Yeah, we simply received an email and everything was, perfectly fine. And we also receive the SMS too. And finally, let us see whether we simply receive the Slack message or not. Okay, we also received the Slack message so that one of your internal sales team can actually reach out to the particular customer. So everything was working just fine. Okay, let me explain you how the data will flow from node to node from the beginning to the ending. But before that, you need to route all of your abandoned cards from Shopify to the Supabase like this. And this is just a sample, so nothing to worry about it. And just after that, you simply create and route all of your abandoned cards to this particular Supabase table. You just have to, set up a webhook integration database. You just have to use database webhook feature over there in your own Supabase. So, you have to create this particular, database webhook. Okay. So what this particular hook will actually do is whenever a new insert operation was done against the abandoned cards table, it will automatically triggers or sends a HTTP post request to this particular webhook URL, which was nothing but our own production webhook URL out there. And also for the security purposes, we will be also, should be sending the header authentication key that we simply use it to, you know, secure our webhook so that no unauthenticated request will be actually encouraged. So yeah. So just after that, you know, so technically, whenever a new abandoned cart or entry was actually added to the Supabase, it will actually trigger this particular workflow. And after that, we will check whether the status of the particular abandoned cart is locked or not. So locked is a state where the particular abandoned cart is fresh. Okay. And by the way, each abandoned cart had its own key, idempotency key, because this particular key is kind of unique for every cart, so that it can't be duplicated. So that even though the user simply, fail at the same cart, or even though the Shopify will simply send us some duplicate, post request to the Supabase to simply save a new entry, technically a duplicate entry, it will simply blindly reject it. Okay, so nothing to worry. So this is a prerequisite you have to be considering here. Okay, so we will be only looking at whether the status is locked or not. Okay, so which this particularly means that this is a new abandoned cart, and still the outreach was not performed for this particular abandoned cart. So we will filter all those things with this simple if node. Okay, we will check against whether the record status is actually locked or not. And after that, we will be grab the customer's lifetime value from this particular customer's table. Just a second. And everything was pre-calculated and simply actually sent to our Supabase. So it was something more like pre-configuration in the Supabase and building a custom application for this whole thing. So yeah, and apart from that, we will be grabbing the users' lifetime value, and we will be using the switch node to, categorize the user in according to their his own lifetime value. So if the lifetime value was higher, we will be sending an email and an SMS and a Slack message. Technically, Slack message means we will actually notify the internal sales team to actually contact this particular high lifetime value client and simply fix the issue if the particular issue was from our side. Okay. And after that, it will automatically, updates the status to the escalated. Okay. So, and by the way, this particular code node was used to generate, personalized email and personalized SMS and also, the Slack message that we are about to send to the, our own internal sales team. Okay. And if the lifetime value was medium or standard, it will automatically, we will be using this particular code node to simply generate a personalized email and, you know, a personalized SMS, and we will be sending those to the to that particular client, and we will be updating the status to, in progress. Okay. So that no, so that the, actual locked status will be changed to the in progress so that even the same duplicate entry was simply received via this particular webhook, it will get simply triggered right here because we will be only passing the entries which are having the status as locked. Okay, so and last but not least, if the lifetime value of the customer was too low or nearly zero, we will be only generating a clean personalized email and sending them. And after that, we will be updating that particular thing to in progress too. So yeah, this is how the whole system will work in. And this was more like an MVP. And this particular workflow was actually inspired from one of my clients, internal workflow. So this is kind of a production level thing for him. And yeah, that's it for today.